Hello, I'm Colin Gallagher, and I am currently alone in the dark with Colin Mahern.
Ooh, spooky!
It's a bit cozy.
I love snuggling up to you, Colin, so it's perfectly fine. My little Scottish muffin.
I'm moderately damp.
Oh, Jesus!
So you have been playing the beta for Alone in the Dark Illumination, haven't you?
Yes, I have, indeed, yeah.
And
Over the past weekend, they had a kind of a closed beta.
yeah, and I know next to nothing about the game. So what is it?
Right. Well, it's your third-person horror shooter. I mean, I believe it's kind of sold on the guise of being a survival horror. I mean, from the word go, you have an arsenal of weaponry with you, so it's not like your amnesias or something like that. Kind of, I suppose, modern Resident Evil is kind of a feel I get off it, because truth be told, I don't think I've ever played an Alone in the Dark game before.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I have.
There's been quite a few, hasn't there? I mean,
there's been four. Maybe?
four at
3 or 4
at least. Yeah, there was that really awkward one last time on the Xbox and the PS3, where you had to like position your arm with the fire hydrant, or not the fire hydrant, the fire extinguisher, and you're like having to like awkwardly move it around the place. It was a mess.
That sounds pretty bad.
Yeah.
Speaking of bad things, no. So I must preface this by saying, yes, it is a beta, and I mean, we're not too sure when exactly it is coming out. From what I've tried to gather on the internet, it's early 2015. We're in early 2015. I don't know when early 2015 turns into middle 2015.
Exactly what I was wondering.
I have no earthly clue. But yeah, so I mean, it's very difficult to decipher what stage this game is currently at. But if the game releases close enough to what I played, that isn't a good thing. Basically. So
Good start.
I suppose to give you a little brief rundown on what the plot is, it's set in this abandoned town.
It's called Norwich, or is it Norwich? Which is like Norwich's
Yeah, I think there's
evil twin.
There's a famous chef there, Lelia Smythe. It's set in this town, and it was flooded once, and everyone fucked off. And now I don't know, people around the area think it's like all ghosties and zombies and rotten things are in there. And lo and behold, there is. Because if there wasn't, then I suppose it would be probably
Quite a dull game.
So yeah, in the beta, you can play as the hunter character, and in the finished game there will be 4 different characters. There's a hunter, witch, a priest, and an engineer. And this hunter, he's apparently some connection to a previous character in, I think, like the first Alone in the Dark game, or the first 2-3 games, something like that.
Edward Carnby?
Yeah, I believe so. So, the game starts you off, you have, in Norwich, you have 4 different areas that you can choose to play. Little kind of, I'm not sure if these are actual, how the levels start, or these just throw you into sections of the levels, or what. Because whenever you start an area, you're just given a big wall of text that kind of just tells you, just some fucking bit about the story. And I suppose the first thing to notice is that it's procedurally generated in terms of enemy placement, how many enemies are there. There is said to be a bit of procedurally generated kind of doors and stuff as well. I didn't really notice that as much.
Procedurally generated doors, as in different sections are locked off. Like
yeah. Like, so like, I don't know, you might, if you start one level, the door might be off to your left. You start that level again, it might be off to your right, something like that. So I suppose, to look on the bright side of things, keeping things fresh. People like procedurally generated things, Colin.
But yeah, they seem to nowadays, like with
really do.
No Man's Sky.
There you go.
That is all procedurally generated, and people can't get enough of that.
No, I don't think people are as excited about this game as they are about No Man's Sky. So yeah, for some reason I don't know why, but when you start off, the default difficulty mode is actually set to easy. So I was like, oh, okay. So I bumped that up to normal just to see what it is.
Yeah.
At normal, and fuck me, pink. The zombie creepy nasty baddies are just bullet sponges. I mean, there was one fella in front of me, and I had a kind of a machine gun, and it was like I was throwing bullets into him at a ferocious rate. It was like down a clip, he's still alive. Another clip, still alive. Another clip, still alive. Another. He just would not go down. And then I was starting to question myself. I was like, am I playing this wrong? Am I meant to? Then I was like, right, aim for his head or aim for limbs or what exactly is going on here? No. When I died straight away most times on normal, so I was like, because I couldn't do damage to them, they were doing damage to me.
That can't be normal.
I have a very good. I have a feeling it's not normal because I went down to easy and it was piss. I was just dropping, lads. It was no bother at all. So the game needs a little bit of balance.
Okay.
The zombies as well.
Yeah, they're called the Darkness. Am I right in thinking that? Where it's basically a direct ripoff from Alan Wake, where they just die in the light. Yeah.
Okay. Pretty much. Now, their models are quite ropey. The lighting in the game isn't bad. It's okay. But the character models themselves are fairly ropey. So the darkness, when they're coming to attack you, they're swiping madly at you. And there are points where they're swiping at your character and your character doesn't flinch or doesn't appear to take damage, and they could even be swiping, and you would think, oh, I've missed that, by a couple of inches, and your life is just going down and down and down and down, and you're dead. It's like, okay, fair enough, I suppose. So the camera angle as well. The camera angle is very.
I've seen a picture of this. You're basically stuck to the character's shoulder.
Exactly, it's like it's right on top of top of his right shoulder or something.
And that's not a good way of looking at things.
Not at all.
You've got like 60% of the screen taken up by the character's massive head.
Yeah, he's quite a large head and very hair reminiscent of former Tottenham Hotspur keeper Ian Walker when he had the kind of curtains kind of going on, but it looks very bad as well, his hair, and I mean it's filling up, as you said, about 60% of this fucking screen.
But it's powered by Unreal Engine 4. How can it look bad?
It can.
Right, okay.
Believe me, it can. But it's like it's developed by a crowd called Pure FPS.
Right. Who are they? I've never
I
heard of them.
I honestly don't know who they are either.
Googling doesn't bring up much either.
No, I couldn't find any previous projects or anything like that, so I'm not too sure if they're a new studio or a renamed studio or what. I have no earthly clue. But if your name is Pure FPS, just give it a first person view or something. The camera is weird. Give it a pure third person or first person rather than this fucked up on your shoulder type of thing. There's a lot of bad things in this beta, Colin. Now again, it is a beta. The finished product might turn out to be this game of the year fucking gaudy masterpiece. It could be incredible. Now, if the video game is coming out pretty soon, it's not looking great. There are a lot of things that need work, as I said, such as the models, the balance issues.
There is one thing that I quite like the look of. It's cooperative. So, I mean, technically, but you got up to 4 players. 4-player horror. Mm-hmm. Cooperative doesn't happen that much. So, I mean, technically, you wouldn't be alone in the dark. You'd be four in the dark. 4 in the dark illumination.
Forlorn in the dark.
Forlorn in the dark. Following in the dark. Just add an F on the front, and then alone for the dark.
They should. Well, let's see if this was the
I
fourth.
should be on their team.
If this was the fourth Alone in the Dark, like they could just put a 4, like Alone in the Defork. Alone in Defork.
That's
maybe, I don't know. There could be a cutlery spin-off.
Oh wow!
Do you know? Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So yeah, that's about it. As I say, not looking great at the minute, but we'll see. I suppose it is a beta.